bathing in blood for like past couple of days.
There will be water within the city. You don't look too... Well, this is hell. I assure you there are sights far worse than all of you. I, of course, look immaculate.
Quite so.
All right. And so the group continues on. If anyone else had anything to say, I apologize.
No problem.
Nope.
The only question I have is, what is Gren's corruption? He's the only one I have not. I have not.
You thought you could escape.
No, don't make me be social.
Well, if you're not social, I'll kick you out.
Gren's corruption was spider eyes, but they're not on his face. Basically, he grew spots, randomly throughout his body. So you just see black spots on like his arms and his neck, and a few on his face. And when you kind of take a closer look, or when it hits the eye right, or the light right, you can see that they are glossy. And at a closer inspection, you see that they're actually spider eyes.
That's disgusting.
He got the best one.
Pretty hot, if you ask me.
You've probably seen worse, I'm sure.
I have, but not by many. I take a few steps away from Gren because spiders.
I look kind of over at Saricat, and then I just go stand by Gren. We're kind of switching places.
Sure.
As I was saying, a party needs a name. I would suggest Sarek and the Cats, for example.
No.
The Cacophony Group.
No.
Chad taps his chin before he stops, and he says, "We're all going down to the 9th layer of hell, correct?"
I believe that is your destination, yes.
Well, would you say that we're hellbound?
But
Why not that?
I see it now. Sarakat and the Hellbound. Perfect.
No.
we'll work on it.
You ruined it.
We'll workshop it.
Anyways.
That's what we'll call ourselves.
I kind of like it.
There's not really an adventuring guild around. I don't see why we need a name, but Chad shrugs.
Of course you need a name. You want your tales to be told, the stories to be said. They want fame and fortune will follow you. If you were to go into a bar and say, I am one of the Hellbound, it's far more useful than saying, I am Bob.
I don't plan to stay down here and work up a fame down in these dreaded layers.
What about Hell Seekers? Because we are seeking it. We are not just bound for it. It's not like we have to do it. It's that we're seeking it. We're going for it.
Holds up like 5 t-shirts he's already printed. No, too late.
She's a religious nut, isn't she? It's always the religious ones that are seeking something.
It's kind of cute if you ask me, but let's keep going. Chad just has his compass out and he's staring at it as he walks forward, not really paying attention to his surroundings.
Alright, Hellbound, officially named.
The whole time they're walking, she's just like, what about like the 9th layer, like adventurers? Like she's just coming up with like the whole time.
And so they proceed. A few hours pass as you travel across Avernus and see many sights, many old crumbling ruins. Some of the most interesting things you see, though, are the ones that are intact. Enormous citadels, humongous sort of fortresses here and there, all sort of walled off, their gates shut tight, their towers manned by different devils that don't seem to pay you much mind as you sort of wander across this plain of fire. You do see a few more marching bands of infernal monsters. But again, they don't seem to be too interested in you. It seems like there's something else on their mind right now. But eventually, things start to change a bit. It starts with a big black line on the horizon, just a bold black line that you can't really see beyond. But as you grow closer, you find that it sort of defines itself, and a few more miles pass, and eventually, all across the horizon, you are facing an enormous camp, or several enormous camps, several roads splitting them, at least 6 as far as you can see. Actual paved roads that have been painstakingly created and sort of pushed down despite the constantly changing landscape of Avernus. The camps are filled with a multitude of creatures. It sort of looks like this from above.
Whoa.
Different war engines here and there, mounted creatures mounted on dragons and dinosaurs and other strange things that you can barely describe. You see enormous devils polishing massive meat cleaver-like weapons. You see demigod-like creatures holding enormous bows within which they place bolts of lightning to fire. You see various camp followers running here and there, trying not to get crushed, carrying weapons, armor, food, different things. And all along the road, splitting each of these camps, are crucifixes, and nailed to them are different souls, wearing different varieties of gear. You also see some demons nailed up here. Champions, warriors and knights and monsters, all nailed to these crosses along the road. Still alive, squirming in agony.
And we have to go across that?
If Sir Cat leads through there, then Chad follows. Though he does pull his hat a little bit down over his eyes so he doesn't have to see these squirming masses.
And I once played in that demon lord there. I once played in his camp, and the devil over there, he has a harem, and let's just say I've made it through a third.
Yes, and you see that one of the succubi kind of gives you a wave, and an incubi does too. As you pass.
That's Jared. May I just say, if you ever need anything, Jared is your man.
Cheers.
Yeah, I really love that we're in hell and that guy's name is Jared.
Hey man, they got corrupted. They used to be Jared from State Farm, but then they got corrupted as an incubi.
Anyways, you continue down these paths, I'm assuming, for some time, and eventually another sight makes itself clear in the distance. A massive, gleaming city, humongous, made of metal, with enormous spires, cresting out, huge, almost Gothic architecture, with lots of banisters and sweeping arches and all that, and lots of spikes, many spikes jutting off of these enormous buildings. Above the city, you see huge ships, war galleons, aloft on massive canvas wings, flying around, docking themselves here and there. And below, enormous slabs of bronze, it appears to be, covered in patina, make themselves evident as the walls of this city, facing out towards you, the bottom of which are covered in enormous spikes. It seems the camps are surrounding this place on all sides. And based on the fact that it's made of bronze, you can assume this is what Samuel meant.
Sarkat,
Yes.
would you happen to know a man named Samuel?
Odeus.
Odeus.
I know a lot of Samuels. Odeus doesn't ring any bells.
We're supposed
Do I
to
know
find
anything
him.
about him?
No, you don't know. For all you know, he's just some guy.
He owned a ship, if that helps at all.
Generally, if you're looking to find someone, you find a tavern that they frequent. Do you know a favoured drinking spot?
He gave us one.
There's taverns in hell.
Honey, there are taverns everywhere.
Hell's a lot more civilized than I thought it was.
To
As you
recount
stand outside the giant camp.
the crucified prisoners of war squirming and bleeding everywhere above you and around you.
I randomly poke at one with a finger as I walk past just to hear him scream.
Yes, he definitely does. It's not a very pleasant fate.
Are you after the demon's skull, for example, or perhaps the harpy's leg? There's the Ghoul's Head Tavern. What else do we have?
Brenda,
Donkey's
that-
No, that's a rather specialised club. Where was it that you needed to find this man?
Could we not just hold up the Ankh and say, like, where are these people?
They're everywhere, dear.
I don't think it works that way.
And it was the Ghoul's Head.
Gran, the imp never said anything like where to meet, did he?
He said meet at the Ghoul's Head.
The Ghoul's Head wouldn't be my choice, but it's a little rough. But okay, if that's where you need to go, that's where we need to go.
Indeed.
All we have to do now is get through the gates.
The Ghoul's Head in Smuggler's Bay. And speaking of bay, as you guys walk closer to the city, you would notice, just past the camps to the east, is a massive, what can only be described as a sea of blood. It seems as though this is where the river Styx empties out into.
Is it boiling?
You can't tell from this distance.
Well, we go in, I guess.
Indeed.
Or whatever the gate like structure looks like, we go towards that.
As you walk
It's-
towards it, you watch as two enormous devils start to stare you down, flanking these huge iron, bronze doors, banded with iron.
Hello. A very nice day to you. Gren, do you want to show them your little necklace, please?
Sure. I'll hold it up and say, Reaper business. We're here to see Mistress Death.
One of them would sneer, but they don't seem to move to stop you. These giant armored devils mostly just stand and stare and growl, arms crossed.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Have a lovely day, and we'll go in.
All right, and we will end it there, but I will send you off with a picture. Welcome to the Bronze Citadel.
Cool.
Nice.
You were met by a member of KISS, long lost.
Well, there you go. You can now officially call us Hellbound.
Yes, isn't that nice? Well done, guys. Very well.
Thank you all.
Thanks
You-
for saving us.
Comments, questions, concerns, praise, adoration.
Still love it. It's awesome.
Excited for our